encrypted spyware.
You hacked his focus?
No, he's too careful for that. But his subordinates? Not so much. He gave additional focuses to the tribals he branded the Sons of Prometheus.
The ones working with Regala.
By tapping their focuses, I learned about most of his dealings. The distribution of override technology, the arming of Tanakh rebels, and the secret pact with Regala to attack Gerard's base.
But how did he come up with a weapon that can take down your shields?
That's the one thing I haven't been able to figure out, but however he did it, I'm quite certain it will work. With it and the Tanakh army, victory seems to be within his grasp. Such a shame he'll be disappointed.
So you know all about me. What about you?
What would you like to know?
Well, start with your life on Earth.
When I was 8, terrorists flooded my home city. Thousands drowned, my parents included. I was one of the few who survived. My guardian sent me to boarding school. Among my peers, I was the strange girl, the orphan to be avoided. All because of circumstances beyond my control.
So you became Batman.
So we're a lot alike, huh?
Aren't we? You were an outcast. But you didn't let that stop you from getting what you needed. Neither did I. I climbed my way out of desolation and used my wits to build a fortune. First, from the technical analysis of art and the detection of forgeries. Profitable expertise in those days. But as it turned out, the software I developed was even more useful for counterintelligence. From there, it was only a short step to gathering extremely valuable intelligence on my own.
You were a spy?
More like a service one could turn to for information. I had to remain anonymous, of course, to protect my privacy. But despite that anonymity, Far Zenith inevitably sought me out.
God, there's so much dialogue here.
What happened when Far Zenith approached you?
They painted an irresistible vision of humanity's future. One where we need not fear illness or death, where we explored the furthest reaches of the stars and thrived. It was only later that I realized that they only intended to bequeath this future to the rich and powerful. By the time I finally figured it out, the walls were closing in, Pharaoh's machines were devouring the earth. So I accepted Far Zenith's invitation to a berth on the Odyssey. I wanted Liz to come, but she had nobler plans, as you well know.
So you didn't know the other Zeniths were monsters until it was too late?
I knew some of them were, certainly. It wasn't until we were off-planet that I understood the true scope of their greed. I was grateful to simply be alive, but the others became obsessed with a kind of effortless immortality. They built a colony where machines serviced their every need, where any memory or fantasy could be endlessly savored in virtual reality. It wasn't.
Imagine just being in virtual reality and just watching yourself do a glyph of the stars that reses 15 people every second. And you're just like, ah, ah. Machine brings you a peel of the grape. Ah. That's what I picture they were doing.
Life. It was stultifying. A pampered dream state. As the decades passed, I withdrew more and more, alone yet again. But this time with eons to consider my mistakes. Now finally, having met you, I feel like I have a second chance.
To do what?
Help you, of course. To fulfill Liz's dream, which isn't so different from Far Zenith's original vision. A better future for humanity.
What exactly is your plan to sneak into the Zenith base?
We will make use of a lesson I learned from an early age. Always know your exits. In this case, a place where Gerard's new construction meets the ancient foundation, a passage that only I can access. When Silence flings his army at the base, we will enter through this back door, bypassing most of the fighting. The distraction will provide us with a window in which to rescue Beta and Gaia.
But Gaia's like in that 800-pound tank thing.
Once we're inside the base, where will we find Beta and Gaia?
Here in the command center. By then, Gaia will have been reunited with all of its subordinate functions, including Hephaestus.
What about the alpha build of Apollo on your ship?
A simple matter of recovery once the others have been dealt with. With that in hand, we'll have everything we need to make this world as it should be.
As it should be.
Regala's only interested in killing Hekarro and waging war on the Karja. What does she have to gain by attacking Zeniths?
It's the price she must pay for her war. Without the ability to override machines, her little rebellion would have languished in the desert.
So she trades with the Sons of Prometheus. Machines to help her overthrow Hekarro.
In exchange for an assault on the base. Pride has deluded her into thinking she can actually survive such a battle. And all without ever knowing who the Sons of Prometheus really answer to. Yet for all of Silence's brilliance, still he underestimates you. That blind spot is what will allow us to take Beta and Gaia right out from under him.
While hundreds of Tenakth are cut down outside. So you knew Elizabeth. What was she like?
Liz was everything she was. I see in you. And more. Your ingenuity, your determination, your moral compass. You've managed to distill her greatest qualities and make them your own.
I'm not asking about me. Tell me about Elizabeth. What was she really like?
The honest answer is that I don't actually know. For all the time that I spent with her, she always kept a part of herself locked away. It was like that from the moment we met.
So when you met Elizabeth, she was what? Distant? Aloof?
Not aloof. Not exactly. It was a summit in Paris about machine learning. A touchy subject in those days.
It was
because
about AI
regulatory
art,
authorities were just starting to clamp down on AIs.
because of the deep
Liz
fakes.
gave the keynote address. She had already achieved great renown for her work in automated environmental reclamation. But in her address, she was just starting to imagine the next step. An AI-driven system that wouldn't just act on its programming, but actually take responsibility for its sphere of influence.
To care about life. Not just follow orders.
Revolutionary stuff. I was fascinated. And I wanted to meet her for a long time. I watched her after her talk. She had spoken with such moral authority, such empathy. But after that, she retreated. I could tell she felt uncomfortable with all of her admirers. It was as if giving the talk had cost her something. I didn't want to be a pest, so I planned my approach carefully.
These two still gossiping? Yeah, just a 30-minute cutscene.
So how did you finally approach Elizabeth after her talk?
I picked the right moment. The morning of the next day, right as she came back to the conference, she had just had her coffee. She was fresh, rested. It was like she had braced herself for the onslaught of colleagues. I asked if I could walk with her, then put forth a question about her talk that I thought was intelligent. Her answer made me realize it wasn't, but she was very welcoming. Almost as if we were previously acquainted. It was only halfway through the conversation that I realized She knew exactly who I was. It was quite a shock to me. My business was trafficking in secrets, and I took great pains to protect my anonymity. So that was Liz, perpetually one step ahead. I came to view our meeting as a metaphor for our friendship. She always seemed to know me far better than I knew her.
I guess I know the feeling. First Varl. Now Hikaru and the Tenakth. Your plan would wipe out an entire tribe. There has to be another way.
We are in an admittedly desperate situation, but I assure you there isn't. Remember Zero Dawn. Elizabeth's sacrifice. Sometimes many have to die for a new world to grow.
If it looks impossible, look deeper. Wait.
She just quoted her
The data
dad.
channel. It still exists, doesn't it? I need you to open it. Let me talk to Beta.
Impossible. We might be detected.
It's worth the risk. There is another way, one where the Tenakth survive.
But we won't. If the others...
If you want to help, open it.
Well, that's handy. It's just overlaid over the real house.
What are they doing to her?
Virtual reality dissociation. The manual merge of Hephaestus will take hours upon hours of tedious micromanagement. If she resists the work, they run simulations to induce feelings of isolation and despair.
Beta, can you hear me?
You're alive. They're watching me. I can't hold up this extra projection for long.
Oh.
You should have killed me.
No. No, look at me. I'm coming for you. I promise.
You already promised. You broke a promise
I
already.
just need you to hold out a little while longer and work on the merge.
Then I think it can be done.
Ooh, secret plans. Secret plans.
I'll contact again when it's time. Can you hold on?
As long as I know you're coming for me, I can endure anything.
All right. I did as you asked. Now I think you need to tell me what you're planning.
I'm going to take Silent's army away. I don't need it. Only the weapon he made to penetrate your shields.
And how do you propose to get it? Ask him nicely?
Yep.
Without Regala and her rebels, he won't have a choice. We'll be his only option.
Only option for what? What did you tell her?
That is between me and my sister.
Ah, that's the first time she
Will
called
be
Beta
Silent's
her
only option
sister.
for crashing that base. I'll tell you the rest later. But first, there are a couple of things I have to do.
Oh. And what are those?
Lay my friend to rest. And then I'm going to use the override that Beta gave me at Gemini to put an end to Regala's rebellion. From the air.
Wait. Since you insist on doing things your way, I know of something that will truly help you make a grand entrance with the Tenakt.
Oh, is she gonna give me a shield? No, wait, what the hell is that?
The ancient Horus Titans still possess electromagnetic energy cells as part of their arsenal. Drop one of those on...
The Yo, we climbed on this thing. This thing is the size of a mountain, chat. Those legs we were running on those.
Regala's army, and they'll receive quite a surprise. So go, do what you must. I'll come to your base if you manage to bring silence to the table.
Not if. When.
I thought she was gonna loan us a shield so we could make a grand entrance with all their attacks bouncing off of us.
Erend, are you there?
Aloy! Aloy, is that really you?
Yeah, it's me. Where's everyone else?
We're all... we're back at base.
He's breathing real hard.
What happened?
Maybe weeping over Varl.
It might be easier to explain in person. I'll try to join you there when I can.
Okay. We'll wait here for you. It's good to hear your voice, Aloy.
Data corrupted. All the makings of the next big thing. A much ballyhooed acquisition from an art historian turned technologist, no less. Bleeding edge science and a great narrative to boot. The application was called Yisit, after young Christ in the Temple, a well-known Vermeer forgery. By creating perfect holographic scans of individual layers on a painting and comparing them to a vast library of artistic works, it was able to identify fakes with an unprecedented level of accuracy. But it was clear to Sterling executives that the program's ability to match and identify patterns had broad applications outside of the art world, as a tool for security, counter-surveillance, or digital authentication. It could prove just as revolutionary as it had in its intended role. Which is why they were willing to sign a 9-figure attachment for it, blasting news of the deal to every outlet in the tech media. 2 years later, the project collapsed in a chaotic jumble of lawsuits, recriminations, and accusations of sabotage. So what went wrong? Who was responsible? And most importantly, what happened to the underlying technology, which by all accounts was far more powerful than the vaporware label applied by disgraced executives? So that was the thing she invented that made her rich. Alright, how do I... This was like a pool? Oh, like a waterfall? Okay, I need... Where am I? Oh my god. Okay. I need to find the campfire. Over that way is a fire. I can use that to fast travel.
That machine's resistant to plasma.
Just to let you know, I'm now patched into your focus network.
Hi.
Great. I take it the other Zeniths can't hear us?
Of course not. And they don't know about your base either, in case you were wondering. I've sent you data on the Horus energy cells you can use against Regala's forces. Reach out to me when you're ready to acquire one.
Understood.
Alright, I'm guessing we're about to have a funeral for Varl. Unless he survived the stab to the abdomen, which I doubt, because... the guy we talked to on the radio a second ago sounded very distraught.
When you're wounded, you have to strike back. Draw blood.
Hey! Can't I get 1 damn minute to mourn my friend?
Regala is going to slaughter my tribe to overthrow Hikaru. The Zeniths have Beta and Gaia. We can't sit around wallowing in our losses.
Kutalo's right. We must fight.
Oh, all right. So what are we gonna do, huh? Take on all of Regala's rebels?
Not to mention the Zeniths. What can we even do? Throw ourselves at their base?
Something like that. So...
After we lost contact with you, we regrouped and went to Gemini. What happened? The recording we found on Varl's focus cut off when that Zenith Eric...
The Zeniths were tracking Hephaestus. When Gaia trapped it in Gemini, they knew where we were. After Varl tried to stop them. They took Beta and Gaia. I only survived because one of the Zeniths turned against the others to save me.
One of them? Well... at least we didn't lose you too. So what do we do now?
We're going to defeat the Zeniths. And get Beta and Gaia back. But first, we're going to stop Regala.
How?
Back in Gemini, Beta gave me a gift. There's something I need to do first to make it work, but it could put an end to the bloodshed.
Word is, Regala's readying her army for an all-out assault on the Grove. I need to be there.
I know. Go. Stand with Ikaro. And keep an eye on the sky.
Strike true as the 10.
The rest of you, whatever preparations you need to make, upgrades, resupplies, get on it. It won't be long before we take the fight to the Zeniths.
We'll be ready, Aloy. And when you're ready, meet me outside the east exit. I'd like to have a word in private.
Even when things are darkest, you're the flame that lights the way forward.
Just tell me one thing. Am I gonna get to smash up a bunch of Zenith bastards?
Like three
We
of
all
them.
are.
Good.
That would actually be so good if when
Before I
they
do
lower
anything
the
else, I should
shield
check on
at like a
Zoe.
cinematic
That sounded
moment,
important.
Aaron comes flying in with his hammer, just screaming like a lunatic, and he takes one of those godly dudes out with just his hammer. That would be incredible. You know what? Hold on a second. Let's look at our skills. Yeah, I have 35 unspent skill. I have 35 unspent skill points. What is that? Overshot? No, I don't need that. Power shredder. Oh, I forgot about this thing. Not power shredder. What was the other one I got? This thing. Shredder mine. Oh man, I haven't used this. I unlocked this at the end of like our last session, and I haven't used it yet. Gain the ability to craft and deploy drop shields? Oh, it's Reinhardt. Maximize shield durability by equipping outfit weaves, increasing skill level by 2 levels. Defy death sounds useful. It's okay. I think I like the one that's just like a friggin' like minute of regeneration. Like that one's pretty crazy. Resonator. Dude, the resonator thing feels so... I've never gotten the resonator thing to work. Oh, move faster with a heavy weapon. There were times when I picked up a heavy weapon, like when I knocked one off the Triceratops, and it's difficult to move, so that would be good. Gain the ability to grapple launch from flying things? Ranged master. Fire a high arcing volley of arrows to rain down your enemies. Use your currently selected arrow type and depletes a medium amount of weapon stamina. Increase weapon stamina limits. I haven't done anything with weapon stamina. More ammo craft per craft. More concentration. Okay. Alright, we got lots of new passives now. Alright, quick save. Alright, is this gonna be a funeral for Varl? I kind of expect it to. Or is she gonna be like, I'm pregnant with his baby?
Over here, Aloy. We would come out here to tend to the garden. Sometimes I needed fresh air. Other times we would simply sit and watch the sunrise. So when we returned from Gemini, it seemed fitting that he be laid to rest here. Now he can always look out at Plainsong and further east to the Nora sacred lands.
He would have liked that.
He often spoke of his sister, Bala. He said she used to gather her favorite golden blooms and tie them to her spear. Their mother called it useless, but Bala was stubborn.
Yeah, she seemed like that.
It wasn't easy. But I tracked down the flower. Gathered its seeds. As verdant limbs wither.
Oh no. Singing.
Roots rot in snow. Still the sea rises, as certain as stone.
Stone doesn't rise.
From death follows new life. So it is with the land. And so it is with us.
Wait, I was joking about the
I'm
pregnant
with
with...
child, Aloy.
Oh my god, I was right. She
I was
is
going to tell
pregnant with
him
this
when
kid.
he got back from Gemini. Instead, one day, I'll bring our child here. We'll sit among the blooms and watch the sunrise.
I never got to tell him.
I'm just imagining by then the seeds have grown into a little tree, and the kid's like yelling, and the tree blows in the wind and creaks, and the tree, and the kid's like, "Shut up, Dad!" And she's like, "Don't talk to your father that way. You apologize to that plant right now."
To thank him. For saving my life, sure, but also for not giving up on me.
He always knew.
Goodbye, Varl. I promise to look after them.